It's become a Monday morning tradition at this point to see hashtag Fire Nagy trending on Twitter. I'm sick of this. Haven't we had enough? Well, let's look at the facts. Let's look at what Nagy's done with his career in his 3.5 years with the Chicago Bears up to this point and really break down whether or not the Bears should hashtag Fire Nagy. Let's get through everything that we already know, right? He's been with the Bears since 2018, the year in which he won Coach of the Year. He coached the Bears to a 12-4 season, brought them to the playoffs, and then, of course, the infamous double doink happens. The Bears lose. They come back next year in 2019. They go 8-8. They don't make the playoffs, just to rebound in 2020 after another 8-8 season. That's 2 in a row. They do make the playoffs. They make the wild card game. And of course, in the famous MVP Mitch game, they lose to the Saints, bringing Matt Nagy's playoff record with the Bears to 0-2. 0-2. Whatever direction this should go. It's now 2021. Good thing is we have a 17-game season and we can't go 8-8 again. But even worse, as it stands right now through week 11, granted the Bears have already had their bye, they're currently sitting at a 3-7 record. Now there were some close games in there. Of course, we recently had the game against the Steelers, which went down to the last possible drive. We managed to beat the Bengals, who are a legitimate contender this year. We also beat the Raiders, who you can say what you want about the Raiders, but at the time when we did beat them, they were a good team. We played the Packers somewhat close and only a 10-point game. Granted, we were at home, and the Ravens beat us by just a field goal. So not every game was a blowout, but you also can't forget about the Buccaneers game, which we got absolutely whomped. The Myles Garrett-led Browns that destroyed not only our rookie quarterback in his first regular season start, but dismantled our entire offense. We had no game plan. We had like 30 yards of total offense. And the Rams week 1, who absolutely had their way with us. It has not been pretty so far this year. We knew when we drafted Justin Fields, there was going to be a quarterback controversy. Nagy stuck to his guns. He said, Andy Dalton is our guy. Andy Dalton gets hurt after having a decent start to the year. I won't fault the Bears' shortcomings on Andy Dalton. I don't think it was his fault. I don't think Andy Dalton's a bad quarterback. He's thrown into a rough situation where the entire city of Chicago has been desperate for a quarterback literally since the existence of this organization. Sure, Jim McMahon won us a Super Bowl, but can you really say Jim McMahon was a franchise quarterback? Absolutely not. You can't. We had Jay Cutler and we wasted away a powerful Bears offense because the one time we had offense, we couldn't figure out the defensive side of the ball on top of horrible coaching through that period in the Bears history. It's also interesting to note that Matt Nagy in his career as a head coach, granted it's only with the Chicago Bears, is 0-4 off the bye. He has not won a single game off of a bye week, which to me is absolutely laughable considering you have 2 weeks to prep for that game specifically. You know your opponent. You can sit there and watch film for an extra week of time, and for some reason we get whomped after a bye week almost every single year. This year, granted, we didn't get whomped. We played a close game against the Ravens, but to be 0-4 after the bye, I think speaks directly to Nagy's shortcomings as a head coach. He was propped up as this offensive guru, an offensive mastermind stemming from the Andy Reid coaching tree. He was going to solve the Bears' problem. He was going to bring an offensive mind into a team that already had a great defense, and he was going to fill out the other half. He was going to make us a Super Bowl contender. We have now wasted 4 years. I'll say 3 years, maybe not this year, but 3 years of a championship Super Bowl caliber defense because our offense has never been able to figure it out until this year. There's hope. With the 11th overall pick, we trade up with the Giants and draft Justin Fields, the quarterback out of Ohio State. Many thought was a Heisman contender while he was in college, including an incredible playoff win over Clemson in which he threw for 6 touchdown passes. This was the guy. This is the guy. I'm not speaking in past tense. This is the guy. This is the stud that the Bears have been looking for, the franchise once in a generation quarterback to come to our organization. And for some freaking reason, Matt Nagy has not been able to figure it out. Not only that, we drafted 2 fantastic offensive linemen. Now, only one of them has been able to play, but in Tevin Jenkins' place, we picked up Jason Peters, who has been nothing short of a stud at the tackle position. In his 18th season in the NFL, he has been a stud. Larry Borum, though limited in his starting capacity due to some injuries, has been magnificent in the tackle position. We have 2 top 10 PFF rated guards. We have a phenomenal run game, and for some freaking reason. The Bears can't figure out how to win a damn game. We are consistently bottom 10% in the NFL in every single offensive category. Take your pick, whether it be average yards per attempt, score per game, yards per game, third down percentage, first downs in a game. Doesn't matter. We are always near the very bottom. And under our offensive guru known as Matt Nagy, nothing has changed. And in our 4th year, I think I speak for just about everyone when I say fire Nagy, because Nagy's always been touted as a cultural leader, a coach that the people in the locker room respect and want to rally behind, and I've respected that. However, I firmly disagree based on the amount of taunting, roughing, personal foul, ejections. Freaking Javon Wims last year epitomizes that. You can't say you lead a fantastic culture and then have your players commit horrendous penalties almost game after game. That's a story for another day, because I do think those players are also equally responsible, but it does come back to the head coach and the culture that he represents. And now the icing on the cake is a tweet from Jordan Schultz, who says, and I quote, "An overwhelming number of Bears players want Matt Nagy gone," league sources say. He lost some of the locker room last season, but now it's gone. One source adds, one key holdup: no head coach in the 101-year franchise history has ever been let go during the season. And I knew this coming in. Matt Nagy, according to most sports books, had the most favorable odds to be fired first this year, but I know as a Bears fan, that's not how the McCaskies work. He will not be fired midseason. That is my true projection for Matt Nagy's fate. I think he'll be let go at the end of the year. But at this point, what are we doing? What are we waiting for? What is waiting till the end of the year going to save this Bears team? We're already 3-7. Even making the playoffs, you don't stand a chance with this team. We have a rookie quarterback who's being absolutely abused, now has a rib injury because he's got a coach that doesn't know how to scheme him either outside of the pocket, or to teach him pass protection at the line of scrimmage, or to adjust their offensive scheme to protect his quarterback, keeping tight ends to chip a defensive end, keeping running backs in to chip block. Whatever it is, the Bears haven't done it. They haven't protected Justin Fields to date. He is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, and that's not because he's slow and lethargic in the pocket. The man runs a 4.4 40, and he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's only a rookie. I'm not going to sit here and say we're breaking Justin Fields. I think the dude is mentally tougher than what's being thrown at him right now. I'm not worried about breaking Justin Fields like so many analysts are. I am worried about showing him what a lack of leadership looks like. We don't have a leader that inspires. We don't have a leader that teaches a good culture. We don't have a leader that commands a winning attitude. And when you don't have that in a locker room, everything falls apart. People stop trying, people stop caring, people stop showing up. And that, to me, is what sickens me the most about this entire situation. Matt Nagy needs to be fired as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. We have a special teams coach in Chris Tabor who can step up to the plate and finish the season for us as an interim. He already took over one game when Nagy was out with COVID. We saw what he could do. Is he going to lead them to a playoff Super Bowl winning season? 99.9% chance, no. But that's not my concern. My concern is Matt Nagy leaving the building and never coming back to the city of Chicago. I'm sick of this offensive guru bullshit. He's been nothing but a scam artist. All he does is lie like a damn politician in every single press conference he's ever in. If I hear him say, "Figure out the why" one more damn time, my head will explode. McCaskey family, please fire Matt Nagy. Save us from this absolute nonsense. We'll take the losing season. We already know our fate in the 2021 football season. Begin your search for head coach, because we will not be the only team looking at the end of this year. Get a head start. Get rid of this man. He's been a disaster from the beginning. I don't care about 2018. That was the outlier. 19, 20, and 21 shows who Nagy really is. From a press conference to the practice field to game time on Sunday, the man has been an absolute disaster. Cut your losses and say goodbye. The answer to the question of this video, should the Bears fire Matt Nagy? My answer is an absolute resounding yes. The Bears should fire Matt Nagy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Check out my other videos if you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you boys in the next one.